If I could rid the world of one thing, it would be lack of access to quality education for everybody, or education inequality. I would make it so that everyone all throughout the world had equal access to affordable and quality education, not only primary and secondary education, but also access to university and post-secondary education, technical institutes, that sort of thing. I believe that education creates greater opportunities for people's future. It guarantees that they'll have greater job opportunities and just greater access to improve their quality of life. When I lived in Thailand, I saw how lack of education or lack of access to education really created inequality in people's lives, and it really impacted females in particular. When I was doing my undergrad degree, I wrote a thesis on child prostitution in Thailand because when I lived there, I saw that so many females fell victim to that sort of thing. And as I did my research, I found that one of the main reasons that they fell victims to child prostitution was because of lack of access to education, but the fact that culturally and socially in the Thai culture, females are supposed to care for their parents later in life. When the females become adults, it's their job to look after their parents. And if they can't, then they believe that they aren't going to have good karma for their next life. And being a Buddhist country, that sort of thing is very important. So these girls would sell their bodies so that they could look after their parents. And the way they justified it was, well, my body is just a shell, but it's important for me to look after my parents, and so this is all that is available to me. However, if they had access to education where they could improve their quality of life and get good paying jobs that don't subject them to the atrocities that they're faced with child prostitution or with prostitution in general, these girls would have such a better life, and they'd still be able to care for their parents. Before the Vietnam War, the way they used to care for their parents was by tending their land. However, many impoverished people lost their land after the war, and so they were left with absolutely no opportunities. And sorry, excuse my cat. It would also be important to look at how lack of education affects people in Canada and the US. We very often don't find ourselves falling victim to the same extreme cases that women do in developing countries. However, many women have to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet, and that impacts your quality of life. If you're a parent, that impacts how much time you have to be a parent. I mean, people are human. You need to have time to rest. You need to have time to enjoy yourself. And if all you're doing is working so that you can keep a roof over your head, your quality of life is not as good as it could be. So I think education and access to good, quality, affordable education is the key to bettering people's lives. And again, I apologize for my cat.